Vegas.
Oh, we had a new one.
Looks like some kind of crazy tank guy. And one called
Oh, let's sit back there.
green-haired, kind of sort of Lucina copy.
The US Pro tag for the new game.
I guess so.
I don't know the Echoes game as
I don't
of yet,
either.
so.
Either I didn't work on it.
All I know is, hey, new people I can 5-star with.
Yeah.
Basically.
hopefully get through all the quests or the stories going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have my set team now. I'm like new people that I can inherit their skills from.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just get this interview started. I got the live
totally.
feed going, so.
Go ahead and start us off, Matt.
All right, so the my first question is that recently Persona 5 just came out.
Mm-hmm.
You voice Yusuke. However, you're not new to the franchise. What is it like to come back with Atlus's new title that just came out?
It was a huge honor. Persona 4 is such a Persona series in general is so great. The whole Shin Megami Tensei series, and I've had the opportunity to be in a few within that sphere of Persona and actual Shin Megami Tensei itself. So for me, I came into the role of Kanji already established by Troy Baker and was kind of having to fill those shoes and take it in its own direction. That was a huge honor to do. And I also assumed, because I was so involved in the games after that, carrying on as Kanji, that when 5 was being announced, I was like, well, they've already used me, they're probably not going to bring me back. So it was a pleasant surprise that they asked me to play the part of Yusuke. And it was a very different type character than Kanji. And so I had the opportunity to play a different archetype and personality with a different type of vocal quality and performance. And I was extremely excited about it. And with any game you work on, there's always a part of you that's like, I hope this game turns out good. And Persona 4 was so well received that I was very much wondering if it was going to be able to live up to the expectations. And it apparently has done so and exceeded them. I've only played maybe 17 or 20 hours into the game.
The thing is that Persona 4 had like a very long, like, besides the game and Golden, there was a lot of other Persona 4 roles that happened with Dance Online.
Exactly.
And you had to be a part of that, so.
Yeah. If I've seen anything, if a project does well, they'll continue to spin off of it.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe we'll see more Yusuke in the future. We'll see.
Oh, okay.
Now, given that Persona 5 was delayed in the U.S. market for quite some time, initially the game in Japan came out in 2016, and and in February it got announced they delayed that to April.
Yeah.
Do you think it was worth it to have that kind of gap between when the game came out in Japan versus now in the U.S.?
I'm a firm believer in the Blizzard school of game development and release, which is release something when it's ready. Delays are frustrating, especially if you're looking forward to something, but as a consumer, as a gamer, I would prefer to wait and play something when it's been completed or polished to the point where the development team feels comfortable than to have somebody rush it out and get a project that is of suboptimal quality. So, and I've had many games that I've been looking forward to that got delayed throughout the many years that I've been playing, and yeah, it is a frustrating element, but my personal belief is I would prefer there to be a delay and ensure that the final product is as good as it could be. So yeah, I know people were frustrated, and I was a little frustrated because I was excited for it to come out, but I think the quality of the final product and the ways they were able to polish it for the American audience, well, it's going to speak for themselves.
No, definitely.
In your case of Kanji and Yusuke, who do you think is a better party member?
Oh, that's a hard comparison, man. From just a bombastic personality standpoint, Kanji is such a juggernaut of force, anger, and beatdowns that I like that aspect in my party. Yusuke is a little closer to me as a person. I'm the kind of sensitive artist boy. That's been me most of my life. Yeah. So from a character, I probably identify a little more with Yusuke, but having in my party, probably lean more with Kanji.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Nick.
Okay, Nate? I'm not Nick.
Sorry.
All right, so I actually noticed you when you started in Fire Emblem. I'm a big fan of Fire Emblem, aka Local Meal cosplay is one of them. FYI, for those who are looking at the camera, I'm cosplaying Donald from Fire Emblem.
I was like, where is your pot?
My pot is like right there.
Oh, there it is. I see it.
Right there, so I can like get up there.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah. So yeah, I noticed that you're also from Fire Emblem Awakening plus Fire Emblem Fates. Have they also talked to you about Fire Emblem Echoes as well?
I don't think so, not yet. I mean, they've used me for quite a few characters in existing franchises, so I mean, I'm always happy to work on with them and Nintendo and projects, but at the same time, they want to make sure they get fresh voices and new characters' voice in there. So by no means do I expect that. So we'll see. I haven't been contacted or anything yet, and if I don't show up in Echoes, then probably for the best to bring some other people and some fresh faces and voices into the scene.
Of course. And I also do want to notice. I also say this to every voice actor out there, because you're kind of new to the voice acting scene. Mm-hmm. How did it all begin for you? Like, what made you want to become a voice actor?
I mean, well, growing up a huge nerd helps.
Oh yeah.
I've been, reading comics, watching cartoons, anime, and playing video games since I was able to. So I've been heavily steeped in geek culture my entire life. And for me, what got me into theater and performing arts was my love of pop culture and geek culture. I used to play Tournament Street Fighter when I was in high school. I, was an illustrator and drew creatures and monsters, and I was very heavily influenced by Evangelion and. Cowboy Bebop, Artist Original Series. Mm-hmm. Then I started kind of blending my love of performing arts and my love of geek culture into the intent to maybe try this voiceover thing out. And so long story short, saved a bunch of money, quit a very good job, and lived very, very meager means in a tiny studio apartment for a number of years, and just kind of hit the pavement as hard as I could. And about 2008, I got through a series of lucky circumstances, got Taft-Hartley into the SAG-AFTRA, or at the time it was just SAG Union. I got a good agent, and it's been just a climb from there.
That's good. And I also have a thing. Do you have any advice for people who are pursuing in a role for voice acting? Do you have any advice for them to
there's tons of advice. I'm just trying to condense this, the issue. First and foremost, when you say voice acting, voice is important, but acting is 90% of it. You can sound cool and have interesting character voices, that's fine, but so much more of it is being able to take a script and take a scene and take a character and off the cuff with almost no preparation deliver them believably. Most of the job is cold reading. You don't get the scripts in advance, so you just get handed a line, get told what your character is, and say go. And so you have to be ready, and that only comes through experience and training. So you really, really want to make sure that if you want to step into the competitive scene as a voice actor, that you train to be as competitive as you can. Because you're not stepping out into a void, you're stepping into my territory. And I'm happy to have people come in here and do it, but understand, if it's going to be an audition where you and me both read for the same thing, you got to be ready to be competitive and beat me out on that. Exactly. And you're only going to get that by learning and training and really being as best as you can be. And that comes through acting experience and training.
All right, cool. And then one more thing to follow up at Fire Emblem. Mm-hmm. Who's a better prince to voice, Chrom or Ryoma?
Oh man, well, Ryoma's so stoic. He's such that cold, but when I say cold, that stoic's the best word, because he is really warm, especially if you romance him. He's just a very intense, passionate leader that understands his importance in giving off that patron, that fatherly persona. Yeah. And that's fun. I like that just general quiet badass. Chrom to me was more dynamic. He got to travel his arc as opposed to Ryoma. I think already kind of later in his years already had his arc. So for Chrom, it was more of a journey. You got to see more of highs and lows with him. Yeah. And for me, I'd say Chrom was a meteor role for me. I got to enjoy it a little more. But don't get me wrong, I love me some Ryoma, and actually Shigure was fun in Fates, because I got to sing in a game, which doesn't get to happen very often. So that was fun.
Okay, cool. All right. You guys have questions?
I noticed that recently you have a couple web series of some of your fellow voice actors, like Critical Role and even your Smash Brothers series. How did that come about?
Oh, the Smash Brothers series, that's old internet. It's called There Will Be Brawl, and that one we did in 2008, 2009. And that came from just wanting to make something silly. I've directed projects before. I've do some on camera, both production and performing, and me and a friend of mine, Zach Grafton, were getting prepared for what was then the release of Brawl. This is a ways back, and we started coming up with really weird, twisted, dark ways that the Smash Brothers universe could really exist. And so we talked about a cannibal Kirby that wore people's skin. We talked about, you know, a trench coat wearing Luigi who sold power-ups in the alleyways of the Mushroom Kingdom. And eventually we just ended up writing a script. And so we cast it and we shot and filmed a bunch of really silly, you know, film noir web series episodes. And so that's how that came about. It was just our nerdy wanting to produce something. And met a lot of good friends through that. And Kylie Bear, another great voice actor, played Wario in it, and he was a blast to work with. And then Critical Role, I mean, I'm a D&D nerd, have been most of my life. I'd introduced a few people to it, and about a little over 4 years ago, I think, I can't keep track of time anymore, Liam O'Brien was working with me on Resident Evil 6. It's been more than 4 years ago, and I invited him to come play a game of D&D with me. He'd always wanted to since he was a kid. It's been a long time since he played. It's like, maybe. So about 4 years ago, he said, sure, you know what, we'll play a game of D&D. I'm like, perfect. And we got Sam Riegel, Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, people who had never played before, my girlfriend Marisha, now fiance, and Taliesin Jaffe, and I just ran a one-shot D&D game. And they loved it. Which I hoped they would. I could never tell them. I was like, hope you guys liked it. But they liked it a lot, and it was something new and fresh for them, and so we started playing more often.
Oh.
And about 2 years later, we had the opportunity. Felicia Day had heard about it through Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie in Last of Us and a bunch of other projects, who's playing with us. Felicia Day asked us if we wanted to do it on our Twitch stream. Like, I mean, I guess, will people watch that? Other people just playing D&D? It's all right, we'll give it a shot. And we were very wrong. A lot of the community just grew, and so many fantastic people have come together to sit around and watch our weekly little D&D stream on Twitch. It's been wild.
You mentioned that your love for Street Fighter. I noticed that you did play Fei Long in the fourth iteration of the franchise. Mm-hmm. If you could play another fighter, who would you want to be?
Oh man, I mean just for personal sake, Akuma. Goki, as depending on Japanese or not, he's my favorite Street Fighter character. I love his history with the whether you want to go with the demonic influence or the murderous intent, whichever canon of Street Fighter story you follow. But Akuma is one of my favorite characters, and I felt like I'd like to give a spin at it. But honestly, Dan Hibiki all the way. Dan Hibiki, Psycho Ryu style all day long. I would happily pick up that mantle.
So just recently, Overwatch came out, and your Boise McCree.
Yes.
How were you approached by Blizzard to voice that game?
That's an interesting story. I've worked with Blizzard for a number of years, a number of projects, and it was at BlizzCon 2015, I think it was, where they released the first trailer for Overwatch.
Yeah, right, that's right.
Unveiled it, and I was there. I was doing a voiceover panel there at the time. And I remember turning and seeing this trailer on the screen. I was like, this looks incredible. I want to be part of it so bad. But they've already cast a lot of the characters. I don't know if it's already over, so I just got really excited. And I remember they had the art exhibit there where they unveiled the character art and stuff. And the cowboy character looked really cool. I'm like, I could probably voice that guy. Probably not any of these other guys, but that's one maybe I can do. But I don't know, they probably already cast it. And then about 2 months later, the audition came through my agency for this project something game. I think it was Project Titan at the time, and the character had a different name, but I recognized the art immediately. It's the cowboy from Overwatch that I saw at BlizzCon. I was like, I want this so bad. So I just worked really hard on the audition and managed to book it.
Nice.
And I was ecstatic and am ecstatic and extremely honored to be a part of this project because, well, it's kind of become
it's becoming a staple.
It's become like a gamer culture touchstone now.
It's like as big as like League of Legends. And,
it's nuts.
And we're all players of it, so we love playing it, and it's awesome that we're hearing you becoming.
Hey man, I'm happy to be between that and League. I'm like, what other weird, crazy things can I voice? It's nuts. I'm okay with it.
All right.
So in between patches for Overwatch, do they make you come in for the you get new lines, you get new skins, you get new sprays. Did they make you come in to do the lines again, or were they pre-recorded towards the launch of the game?
No, we come in about once every few months or so to do a new set of lines. So when they figure out what events they're going to release, what the holidays they're going to be celebrating in the game, they'll call the actors back in to do new sets. lines and just add things throughout the game as they flesh out the storyline, or decide to unveil elements of the rest of the world building of Overwatch as they go forward. Will have us come in to do occasional sessions and just add more and more to the game. And I think that's kind of why it's working so well, because it is at its heart just a team-based competitive, shooter type first-person MOBA thing. But the fact that they built such intense lore and have finding ways to weave it into the game experience through inter-character dialogue, through alternative gameplay modes, through presentational updates. I think, I don't know, it's been really cool to watch how much attention they're paying towards building the universe around the game.
Last question. One of our readers wanted to ask you this question. If you could play another hero in Overwatch, who would you want to play? If you weren't like casted from McCree per se.
Casted from McCree? Oh man. I don't know. Everyone does such a good job. I don't think I could do a better job than anybody else in their period. I mean, everyone kind of locks in their characters perfectly. Reaper would be fun. like the creepy, airy,
like edgelord.
Wraith, like edgelord, yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of die. It's fun. But I'd like a quirkier character, so I'd probably lean more Junkrat.
Oh, Junkrat is
Someone
funny, yes.
kind of crazy and over the top would be
Crazy
fun.
Bob Boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Junkrat's one of my mains too. So he's
you
fun.
played him as a main for you. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was about to ask you what was your best character to play in Overwatch?
I felt like I had to learn to be good with McCree. Like it's kind of a
Given, right?
I was going to be called on it at some point.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, well, can you play your own character?
Play your own character, yeah.
As a person in a group of hardcore gamer, like it's a point of pride where I'm like, all right, I have to be at least decent. So I'm actually pretty good with McCree. I've learned to be decent with him. I'm not like super high-end competitive. I'm not going to tournaments or anything, but I can hold my own.
Okay, yeah.
But I also enjoy Mercy because I tend to play support because nobody else wants to.
Yeah, that's the bad part about it. Is like whenever you play on a team, the support is always the key also. And
no one wants to play it. That's how it's been for so many competitive games. So for me, by nature, and that goes back playing D&D when no one wanted to be the cleric, I'd always pick up the class that nobody else wanted to.
Yeah.
Because one, I'd find fun out of it anyway, and two, if I didn't, all these motherfuckers were gonna die. So yeah, I tend to lean support, and I enjoy Lucio, I enjoy Mercy. And yeah, if I want to go more defensive, I'll generally run Junkrat just to spam grenades everywhere and freak people out. Actually, Pharah I've gotten pretty good with too.
Ooh, I like Pharah actually.
She's a good one.
The rockets and all. I like.
Yeah.
All right. One more question I do want to ask you, and I know it's kind of a little secretive, but can you tell us any works that you're going to be involved in that you can tell us right now?
Oh, that's the hard part because there's a lot of things I can't talk about. I have a number of cartoon series coming up that I can't announce yet, but Comic-Con should have some fun announcements soon. There's Resident Evil Vendetta. It's coming up soon, the new CG movie.
Okay.
They did announce elements of that recently, so I can talk about that, where I come back to play Leon Kennedy again.
Leon Kennedy, yes.
And it's Leon and Chris, so it's kind of a dual
So it's like
story.
a dual voicing then, I guess.
It's fine. Well, I'm not voicing Chris in that one.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But the two characters are in the film, so it's another cool merger of those two sides of the Resident Evil universe. So that's cool and exciting coming up. What else can I talk about?
I know it's hard because the restrictions and stuff.
Yeah,
like
full on legal. They will sue me if I
Yeah,
say
exactly.
anything
Yeah.
restrictions. So it's like I have to dance around.
No, don't worry. If you can't say it, don't say it.
I know. But I do announce things as they come out, both on Critical Role and through Twitter and social media. So if you follow me there, as soon as I have the go ahead to say anything, I'm gonna blast it and scream it from the mountaintops because I'm a huge nerd and I'm proud of the things I work on.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, guys?
I have one more. I mean, following up on, or at least the last Overwatch question I'll bring up for the interview. Speaking of that, you were pretty decent with McCree. I've noticed there's been quite a few videos of you and Crispin Freeman doing playing the game as your characters. I find it hard to believe. Do you find it hard to believe people have a hard time believing it's actually you over the mic or like?
No, I don't think it is at all because we live in an internet culture of trolling. People are messing with each other all the time, and we'll find ways to do it. And I don't blame people. I've done it before, and I go on there and troll people every now and then. So yeah, it's fun. And I can't tell you, about once a week or so, I'll get a message from somebody and be like, "Hey man, it was great playing with you in Overwatch. It was so cool to hear you doing the voice." And I was like, "I haven't played in 2 weeks." Or they'll send me links to a Twitch channel where someone comes in and starts imitating McCree and saying that they're me, and I'm like, I'm gonna let it stay. Create the weird mystique. I'm okay with that. But yeah, so it doesn't surprise me because everyone has an immediate nature to not believe that kind of. Yeah, I think we've trained people to be skeptical.
So would you say it's like intentional trolling for the videos? I mean, just
It is, yeah, but it's all in good fun. There's trolling that's mean spirited, and there's trolling that's just twisting people's reality for a little bit. And so I'll go in there, and I'll pick McCree and just occasionally start saying phrases using people's actual battle tag names, and that's when they start getting weird. They assume it's a soundboard, or occasionally a voice modulator. They'll be like, "Oh man, where'd you get the voice modulator? Where'd you download that?" And I'm like, "Well, I just found it on torrent." just download and install. Don't even ask questions. Then if you start using their name, they start freaking out. And a lot of time, and half the time, they're like, "That's a really bad impression." Like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. So yeah, it's a silly circumstance.
I guess
that,
that
yeah.
it?
I think that's
Is that all the
it.
questions we have? I'm looking also at our live video, but nobody isn't popping up questions, so I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Cool.
One last thing though.
Yeah.
Just to end the video live stream, go ahead and just say your line in Overwatch.
My line? I have a couple lines in there, but we'll do a pass. We'll say, justice ain't gonna dispense itself. But last I checked, the time that is, it's high noon.
And with that, we'll conclude our interviews. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Mercer.
Mr.
No worries.
Mercer.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Mercer.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Mercer.
No worries, no worries.
Thank you, Mr. Mercer.
Thank you. What's awesome that makes me happy.